It's really simple.
Cook the man some fucking breakfast soup, bitch!
This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me. Cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without
Breakfast soup!
And I said, what about
Breakfast soup!
I need to tell you something.
Breakfast soup!
Gotta be fresh, gotta go downstairs. Gotta have my bowl, gotta have
Breakfast soup! Breakfast soup! Breakfast soup! Breakfast soup! I really was debating about doing an intro today. News breaking literally minutes ago. Nothing wrestling related, but definitely something we have to bring up. You know, around 1 o'clock today, I went to the diner. By the way, Breakfast Soup is back. I am Don Tony. He is. And
Mish,
somebody's fucking...
how's it going, DT?
All right, and I have to disconnect Facebook because Kev Castle is asking me 1,001 questions. Do we still have dental care? You know I'm live. Tell me later. Anyway, that won't happen again. Anyway, went to the diner with my girlfriend, my fiance, at 1 o'clock. She's in the background going, fiance! And, you know, I don't pay attention to basketball like I've been in the past, and I've said that many times. And as we're on our way to the diner, they talk about how LeBron James just passed Kobe Bryant in the all-time scoring leader. And I think he's only now behind Karl Malone and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Wow. And I come home, talk to you. We get a couple of little checks ready to do the show. And then I see Shaheen writing about rest in peace Kobe Bryant. And I'm like, I could see trolls writing dumb shit like that because helicopter crash, California, and somebody immediately. And I thought maybe it was a disturbing joke because LeBron just passed Kobe on the all-time scoring list. Sure enough, I go online, I check some websites. Kobe Bryant, 41 years old, died plane crash.
That's crazy. Was it a plane crash? I thought it was a chopper.
Helicopter crash.
Yeah.
Helicopter crash. Him and 3 other people.
Not any better, but yeah.
No. His wife was not on board. The only report I've seen so far that he was with a couple of buddies, and this brings me back flashbacks to 1979, August 2nd, I believe, of 79, when Thurman Munson and the New York Yankees died in a plane crash, and he was flying his own plane. And I remember it still. I have the footage in my video collection. You know, he started flying a plane that he wanted to be able to travel and be able to go to different places by himself and fly by himself just to clear his head. A lot of people, you know, I say sometimes I'll just get in my Lincoln and go on a highway for an hour just to clear my thoughts, blast music. He liked to fly. And I remember at the time, people would say, like, you know, this is not just a tiny little plane. This is a fucking gigantic, you know, thing with thousands of buttons or hundreds of buttons. And sure enough, he died. And I remember tuning into Channel 11 News and just getting chills down my spine. And, man, it brings back the flashbacks. I have footage from the funeral. I remember the Yankee game, the Bobby Mercer game. For anybody that's a Yankee fan out there, they paid tribute to Thurman Munson, and Bobby Mercer was his best friend. And to tell you, this is just Kobe Bryant was never one of my favorites. I admired his talents just like Kobe and anybody else. Me, I was always a diehard New York Knicks fan.
Right.
But this is just rocking the world right
Yeah,
now.
no, he's one of the greatest of all time. Like
Oh yeah,
he's a legend, period. You
yeah,
know, Kobe Bryant was synonymous with basketball and still is synonymous with basketball and will forever be synonymous with basketball legends, you know.
yeah.
I can't really think of what I would compare this to. This is completely by shock. I mean, when we talk about that this just happened, I mean, what, before we went on air?
Yeah,
This is insane how
literally
I
minutes before.
that's when I discovered it. So, yeah, yeah,
This is
I
rough, man. It's rough.
no.
Now they're saying 5 people died. I don't know who was actually manning the helicopter, but you know, I don't know if anybody else. This is
Yeah,
just
like, do we know what happened? Like, was it a malfunction or, I mean,
probably,
did a
but
bird get caught in the blade? I mean, you
we don't know.
always hear stories about stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, look, NTSB is going to obviously open an immediate investigation, and I
I'm
know this
sure.
is going to sound weird, but something tells me that there's going to be at least one weird person out there like me that is going to say this. But I have told everybody in the past about repetitive dreams that I have. Things with my dog.
Sure.
My grandmother, thank God, I haven't had that dream in probably 5 or 6 years of her trying to kill me and stuff like that. And but one dream that I always thought about over and over again, not all the time, but I would always in my dream, maybe because of 9/11, but I always in my dream every so often would see a plane go down or a helicopter go down. And that's why
In
whenever
your
I see,
dreams?
yeah, my dreams, like I'll just be somewhere and then all of a sudden I would see in the background like a plane like going down. And I think that probably
Wow.
added to my fears of never wanting to fly. But, whew, this is just really,
Now,
really
look,
horrible.
obviously people know that you're from. Did you have these dreams before or after 9/11 or?
I don't know. I'd be lying to say that I remember. It was just, I'm sure everybody out there's had the dream that you're running around naked, like everybody else is dressed and you're naked.
Yeah, but there's a difference for you being in New York or in the World Trade Center. I mean, that affected you guys. I mean, it affected everybody.
Yeah.
It affected everybody. But you being in New York City,
Yeah.
I just wondered if there was trauma from that, you know?
I don't know. I mean, there was definitely trauma and fright from it, but
Right.
there's a lot of other things I'm scared about that I don't dream about. I mean, there's a lot more things I'm fearful, like, doing a gangster wrong and where in my neck of the woods in Howard Beach, or having, one of these old members of
Right.
the Jamaican mafia showing up, or there's a lot of things, but, yeah, it's just weird. Like
Fair
I'll
enough.
get that once in a while, but, listen, before we go any further, let me just let everybody know a couple of things. First off,
Sure.
you just moved to Philly and you're in the process
Yes.
of finding a permanent place to stay.
Oh, if that's look, I want to apologize to everybody watching me on video. This is
Don't
not
apologize.
the way I'm going to look from now on. I'm using a laptop currently, and its webcam controls are a little outdated, but it's doing the job. So, I
Yeah.
apologize because it's like a really low frame per second. You can see like the blur in my hand and stuff like that. I'll have a better system set up once I get situated. Actually, before we went live on the show, we were supposed to start the show at noon, but I actually had an apartment viewing at 1 o'clock East Coast time, because I guess I could say that now because I'm East Coast. But yeah, so I looked at a really nice place. It's got a koi pond. It's got a separate concrete room for my audio studio. It's got a huge bedroom with my own patio. I got my own garden. It's got a stone garden in my area. It's fenced off. It's a condo. It's got a huge kitchen, stove, and everything else. Utilities are completely included in the price, which is friggin' amazing. And yeah, laundry in home washer and dryer are included at the unit. Like, there is nothing about this place that says bad at all, and it's smack in the middle of the woods. Now, I know most people would expect, obviously I'm leaving out of Chicago, even Chicagoland. There's not too much wooded areas really. Like there's little parts, but it's all squared off. But I've always wanted to kind of live in more of a rural area. And this place, Philadelphia, but outside of Philadelphia as a whole, is a real nice mixture that I'm looking to get into right now. Is on top of a huge hill, and surrounding the hill is just nothing but just expansive forest. And then there's a river and a trail across from me. And this trail, DT, is like, I guess it's like a 20 or a 30-mile trail. It goes right to Shaheen's house, which, as everybody knows, Shaheen is a friend of the shows, both of our shows. He's a good friend to me.
Yeah.
He's done so much to help me out as a person. I can't thank him enough. But there's this huge trail that goes from where this apartment is to his house. He's only 15 minutes away from where I'll be living.
That's awesome.
And I'm looking to move in at the end of February.
Okay.
And once I get that set up, it's like,
yeah,
my entire world will be a lot different. It'll be, I'll be able to do so much more, And as far as the people that are curious, because I mean, obviously people know that I'm in Chicago and stuff like that. I guess the nicest way to put it, or the least intrusive way to put it is, after 10 years, our relationship changed and we weren't the best for each other anymore. To be fair, two of the three children were out of the house. One of them became successful and he moved in with his college girlfriend, and they're in love and hopefully he gets married. And the second one moved out as well. So there was only one child left, and we're already talking closer to 18 than not. So we're grown. It's not like I'm uprooting a family or anything like that. I wasn't. That's not how it worked. It was just me and Tink were no longer as close. But the future is here on the East Coast. I mean, I have so many connections here, New York, Philly, everywhere. There's so many people that wanted me to come out here. And plus I get to be a part of more events, more wrestling events and stuff like that. While in Chicago, there was absolutely wrestling, but we didn't have the connections there like we do. So I'm really looking forward to a lot more meetups. And not only that, with you guys.
Yeah. We're already
with you
planning something.
And John and Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us are so close to. I'm literally 2 hours.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already working on getting a block of tickets for AEW in first week of March. And,
sure.
I got Mike, Your Best Bargains. He's working on it as well. And we'll probably have everybody get together. And, if that doesn't work out, there's so many other opportunities. You got House of Hardcore. We got House of Glory.
Dude, I am so
GCW.
I'm so fucking excited, man.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome, man. I mean,
this is such a big change, but I mean, I've been with the DTKC show 16 years. I've been doing Wrestling Soup for 10 years. It's about time that I'm close enough to all of us that I can be more interactive. I mean, 2 hours away is amazing. I mean, that means that we can actually go to wrestling shows and not even do an event.
No, just hang out.
Hang out.
That's like, what we're going to do. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to do it every week, but the fact can do it, and somebody doesn't have to fly across the country,
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm happy, dude. I'm really happy.
I'm happy for you, man. And I told you, if there's anything I could do to help, I'm here as well. And let me tell you something. Shaheen, I always praise him for the artwork that he does for me. But I had a conversation last night with Joey Numbers, and we were talking privately about a lot of different topics. And the subject of you obviously came up, and he was telling me about Shaheen and everything Shaheen has done for Joey over the years. And I'm like, man, this guy is he's gold. He's gold. And it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing because you go back even to Lucky 13. I made a wise-ass joke on video saying, how come you don't make any artwork for me? And then here we are, me and him about 2-3 months later, and he's telling me point blank, he's like, DT, I got to tell you something. And this is part of the reason why I went video. He said to me, he goes, as far as he was concerned, and you'll say this, you admitted it. He says, as far as I'm concerned, he says, I hated your guts for years. I thought you were this biggest asshole the way you were portrayed, you know, through the audio, through the headphones, and, you know, just
Right.
you were just a dick. And he says, now I get to know you personally and, you know, see things, you know, that are going on that nobody else sees. He's like, I've done a complete 180 on you. And, you know, it feels good because, you know, I honestly think from a very long time, I don't want to say I was misunderstood because I've said a lot of things that I obviously have
No,
paid the
you've been
price for.
misunderstood though, because you know what? I remember when you had to tell people tongue and you know all the time because there was a lot of people that didn't under humor was very dry. You have very dry humor sometimes and sarcasm, very East Coast New York thing. So and we've talked about this in private over the years. There are just some people in different parts of the world that don't necessarily understand where your sense of humor is, and sometimes they take it seriously. And I always thought that was unfair. It's
Yeah.
like you have to have the humor. Now, not everything, obviously. If you bring up topics or something that somebody disagrees with, then that's on them for their own personal opinions to reflect on yours. But you as a person have been a bad person. And I think that a lot of the people that have ever had anything negative to say, it comes from a place of misunderstanding or
Yeah.
just direct untruths.
And it's interesting. You and I really have not talked much in the last couple of weeks because you have everything going on. But you said something
It's
to
been
me.
busy, DT.
Oh yeah,
Believe me, that's what it is.
Look, totally understandable. Look, I said to Joey last night. I said you are where I was at in 1999. The difference was that I had some people to help pick me up. You know, when I fell. Yes, you have Shaheen and Joey and the support group.
Oh,
but
now I do.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I was able to just move back to my parents for a little bit, you know, and fall on them.
Right.
But you said something to me earlier today that I have been told repeatedly for the last 2 weeks. And that is, you look happy, meaning me. Like they feel the happiness through the video. And again, you know, there's just so much of a different dynamic doing video compared to audio. And, you know, I love it. I love it. This has been an unbelievable challenge, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. I'm enjoying the grind, trying to get to that. But again, you know, we're in 2020. And sure, you know, none of us, including myself, want to be around with someone who is 24 hours a day. You know, look, we all go through shit. But, you know, after all of these years, like, I really want to enjoy myself, have fun, and give people a different side of me. And, you know, you see other people online. It's not just wrestling podcasts, but it's just overall. It's either complaint, woe is me, life sucks, this is and that. And it's like, do I want to do a show to just have fun and enjoy myself, and we talk about topics that we all, you know, mutually, you know, enjoy or follow? Or do I want to just do a show to uplift myself and make me feel better, make me feel wanted, and go to?
Well, that's not bad either. Come on, let's be honest.
Yeah. But some people solely do it for that. You know, when the attention is not on them. And I've talked to Dells about this in the past. I said, you know, you take notice of certain people that when they see great things happening to other people, like you could see it a day or two later. Woe is me post. Woe is me post. You know, like, hey everybody, look at me too. Hey everybody, you know, look at me too. Or it's, you know, make fun of the people on the Jericho cruise. And then when that gets beaten to death, and then you realize, oh wait, my friends are also on there too. Oh, everybody, can we all just get along? Can we all just have a great time? I love Jericho today because somebody confronted Jericho about the lack of women on the ship. And Jericho, I don't think this is a completely accurate number. He's not there with a survey, but he said about 850 of the 2,000 people that went were women. You know, and it's just,
really, that much?
That's what he claimed. I don't
because
believe
it. I'm not questioning it, but I mean, at the same photos I saw, like I saw a lot of Scott Woodford. Obviously, shout out to Scott Woodford.
Oh, Scott was he had a great time, man.
Oh, there was a ton of people giving him love and stuff like that. I'm glad he had a great time. You know, I got to sit down and give him a chat up and see how he was and see how the actual cruise was. But it seems like a lot of the pictures I saw of the cruise, a little sausage fest. And
Yeah, no, without a
intermingle.
doubt. Yeah, I mean, look, when I used to go to clubs back in the late 80s to early 90s, you would walk in there and, you would see like a bunch of hot chicks. And those were few and far between. And, me, I didn't look all that great at that time. I still don't look all that great. But, you would like look at the room and you want to meet someone or just socialize. And unfortunately, you had to deal with, for me, the bottom of the barrel, But
I don't know what you're saying about you don't look good, dude. I'm telling you right now, and it was funny because me and a couple other people were talking about this too. You look younger now than you did before. You look younger.
I know.
You really do.
I know.
10 years doing this shit. It's funny. Yeah. It's funny because I think a lot of people were expecting when you went to video, right? I think a lot of people were expecting you to look really old. You don't. You reverse it. I don't. It is like I said. When people say that you look happy, it's more than just your physical smiling and demeanor. You really do look younger, DT. It's
I appreciate
crazy.
that. I think it's because of the weight loss.
It's you. It ain't me.
It's
the
you
weight
doing
loss.
that. It's the weight loss. The smile that's coming through is not fake. Yeah, man. And this is just awesome. And, just to let everybody know, because the only people that could see or hear this show is Patreon. Even though it's on YouTube, it's a private link, it's unlisted, and only patrons could see it. Some of you out there are worried that shows are going away or things are going away. This is the deal, and then we'll get into questions, because I know a lot of you out there want to see the Royal Rumble pre-show, which starts at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's already 3:30 over here. But first and foremost, DTKC show on Monday is not going anywhere. All right. I already had this conversation with my co-host, Kev Castle. Some people get triggered because I just say my co-host. And he doesn't want to do video. And I don't want... That's fine. Yeah. I mean, I totally respect that. I don't want him to do video simply because he feels pressured to do it. But the idea that... The only thing that did bother me is, when I saw his immediate reaction was, I don't need to be a middle-aged YouTube star. I'm like, yeah, neither do I. And it's like, if you just don't want to do it, if you just don't want to be seen, if it's just too much of pressure for you, I respect that if you just say it. And he did say that last week. So I told him, I said, look, it took me 6 months to prepare visually, emotionally, psychologically. I said, take 6 months. Think about it. And in July, August, we'll bring it up again. And I said, what I don't want is, I don't want him to do I'm thinking about it. Because then every week, have you thought about it? Have you decided? Oh, we want you, we want to see it. Have you thought about it? And I'm not going to deal with that every single week. So giving him 6 months to think about it. If he decides 6, 7 months from now, he still doesn't want to do video, I totally respect that. What I don't want is, because this person does audio, why do you have to do video? Right. Because I'm trying to expand. I'm trying to put a face behind my energy behind the scenes. I want a new challenge. I want to generate more money. I just got engaged. I don't want to have to depend on family or a life insurance policy that's left to me 20, 30, 40 years from now. I got to do things, and I got to really enjoy it, because I don't know how many years I have left on this earth. Trust me, I guarantee you nobody out there ever expected Kobe Bryant would only have 41 years on this earth. So I'm not going to take life for granted. Yeah, I mean, I had the cancer scare last year. I had the 2 surgeries last year. And I don't want to take life for granted. And the last thing that I think is so unfair is that I should pass up opportunity because others don't want the same opportunity. I just feel like, I'm doing this because of me, not to spite anybody else. So Monday, the compromise was, and this compromise was talked about months ago. I'm going to be on video. He's going to be on audio. Last night, I spent about 2 hours. I know Chat Site was in Discord, so he saw me doing it. He's listening live right now. I was on Discord working on all of the features so I can have Discord audio only going on any shows that I'm on with him. And I was able to fix it. So tonight, if anybody that just wants audio only, you could go on Discord and you can hear the pay-per-view recap as usual. If you want to go on YouTube and mingle and chat on YouTube, I will be on YouTube. That's the way it is. Any shows that I am involved with him, I will be featured on YouTube with the YouTube chat. Discord will be also open for anybody that wants to chat with Kev or wants audio only. It's easy as that. Nothing else. Also, breakfast soup. This is very important for everybody. Now with you on the Northeast, you told me point blank that you have a lot more freedom to do shows when you feel like it, spur of the moment, whatever it is. Yeah. And we really want to spread out the shows because none of us want to be burnt out. And at the same time, we don't want to overload everybody either. And you have Wrestling Soup on Thursdays. That is your number one priority. That's your baby. And we have been doing Breakfast Soup on Thursdays. And the thing is that, it's not fair for Mish especially to do 2 hours of Wrestling Soup, Breakfast Soup earlier in the day, then have to prepare for Wrestling Soup, and then edit, and then do this, and run codecs, and record this, and put this up. So we're thinking about doing Breakfast Soup on the weekend. That's going to be up to all of you out there. We haven't decided if it would be a Saturday or a Sunday. I kind of like the Sunday afternoon, early afternoon idea because it's a decent time where nobody is, for the most part, working like a 9-to-5 job. Our friends overseas, it's still earlier in the evening for them. So all of you out there.
It's also a great idea to do it before pay-per-views. I mean, we could technically end a Breakfast Soup like we are today before Royal Rumble starts. That way, if people want a little, shoot the shit before the actual big main events, you got that. And then obviously after the show, you got yourself and Kevin and myself and John and Joe doing our respective shows post the pay-per-view. So and also on a real quick side note too, just to throw it out there for the people that are subscribed to both, Wrestling Soup, the Don Tony Kevin Castle Show Patreons. As far as video for Wrestling Soup goes, because I've gotten that question a couple times too. Our plans are just to do, I think right now, the plans are Wrestling Soup will still remain completely audio. How our pay-per-view shows, which will be 2 a month, because one for AEW and one for WWE. I thought about doing the NXT pay-per-view too, but it's a little too much. If I do that, I'm going to do that. But as far as getting us 3 together, we're looking at 2 pay-per-views a month, and not this month, obviously, and not until I settle in. But from there on out, we're going to plan on doing all the pay-per-view shows live on video.
That's awesome, man. And we'll figure it out so we don't have to compete with each other and stuff because it's not competition. But
we won't.
Yeah.
Because that's the great thing about Patreon, too, is that people can come back and just watch it later.
Yeah, whenever they feel like it. You don't have to tune in live. And, another thing that we're talking about possibly doing is going back to the old format where Breakfast Soup was every other week. And the only reason why we're thinking of doing that is because, number one, new shows are going to be added. So I don't want anybody to think that you're losing out. New shows are being added. We're working on things. But the number one reason why we started doing Breakfast Soup weekly is we wanted to kind of spread out the questions a little bit more. So instead of having 60 questions every 2 weeks, maybe we get 30, 30, 30, 30. And what started happening almost immediately is that instead of getting 60 questions every other week, we had the same people leaving questions every week now. So it's not like you leave it once every 2 weeks. We thought about opening the questions, for a couple of days, and then whatever questions were sent in, we spread it across 2 shows, kind of like what I had to do Friday with the Q&A. I mean, never expected going 3 hours. But so that's the only other thing that may change. But I have decided, because a lot of you ask for it, and I always listen, any YouTube-only shows that I do, whether it's Q&As, things on Friday, and I'm going to be doing a boatload of spur-of-the-moment things. I probably would not have done a spur-of-the-moment video clip about Kobe since I'm not big in basketball right now, and, my tribute... I
don't think you have to. I think Kobe is mainstream enough that we can talk about him.
Right, but if it's something wrestling, something tragically happens, coming in here, putting the video on, recording for a little bit... there's going to be a lot of that. And I'm going to also be doing sports. Some people want some political stuff. Everything's going to be separate. And I could go video at any time. But for Patreon only, you will always have audio versions of my YouTube-only content. So that's going to be a bonus, an extra that was not before. Like Friday's Q&A, that was YouTube.
Sure.
I didn't put that as a download for anyone else, but our Patreon family said, hey, could you, put some audio only links up? I'm like, sure. So there's going to be a lot of things added. The one thing I promise you, though, is, Mondays will not change. But at the same time, though, we also need to understand. And I hope that Sean Kentner didn't take it the wrong way, or others, but I mentioned this briefly the other day. When Kev was doing his Castle Chronicles and people were talking about YouTube, he immediately started talking about it, and I was listening to it, in the background because I was waiting to put the show up. And he's like, what are we going to do about the trolls on YouTube? And I'm saying to myself, what do you mean we? You're not doing video. This is my YouTube channel. This is for my work. And then, somebody's like, well, you need a moderator and this and that. And he's like, all right, I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to talk to DT about Sean being a moderator. And I'm like, ho, this is my channel. That has nothing to do with you. Right. So the reason why I'm saying this is that if there's going to be trolls on YouTube, that's my problem. You know what I mean? This is totally separate to DTKC. Yes, DTKC shows will be featured on my YouTube channel, but the YouTube channel is content that I am featured on. The only reason why I'm saying that is not to be a dick in any way, shape, or form. It's just that I want to nip it in the bud early. I don't want anybody to think that that's the DTKC YouTube channel. That is not. That is my channel for my work. And you give me about 2 months, the amount of spur-of-the-moment clips I put up, bullshit things. I'm going to do this live open thing that people want me to do. This is like some canvas company in India that made supposedly duplicates of that Podfather canvas behind me that Shaheen drew up. I didn't even open it yet. I have this for about 2 weeks. I'm excited, but people want me to do this live on air. We're going to do the chip challenge. I'm going to do the death nut challenge. People want me to talk about some things that I enjoy on keto, supplements, food, diet tips. Right. I'm going to do everything. If I want to talk about freaking, this, whatever. I even, for a goof, I told my fiance already that I'm going to, prepare lunch in the next week or two. And just to be a troll, I'm going to post a video clip of just me sitting here eating lunch, saying nothing, just eating lunch. And I'm going to advertise it as that just to be funny. But I promise you, Monday's show is not going anywhere. If you like audio only, if you like Discord, if you like listening live or on the download, you could do everything exactly as before. Video is just giving a new extension of me. You put a face and video behind me, and you get to know me a little bit more intimate. Nobody is obligated to do the same, and I'm not trying to pressure anybody to do the same. And that's it. Plain and simple. That's the easiest way to put it. And yes, I'll mention it next week too. But after that, there really should be no more argument about it. But this was something that I had to do. Otherwise, I was done. That's what a lot of people don't understand. You get all these years. I passed up so many opportunities. And few people are asking, what am I wearing? This is a Beavis and Butthead Wrestling Maniac shirt. So... And by the way, I forgot to apologize too. When I did the Q&A on Friday and I was showing a picture of my grandmother, I didn't have my camera in front of me. So a lot of you out there didn't really get a chance to see what, when I was showing it, because I was like this. And I showed it later on, but some of you out there, this is the infamous photo of my grandmother when she was on the cruise ship and she took that picture with that cardboard of Hulk Hogan. And if you look at her face up close, she is in cloud nine. She loved it. That was my grandmother. I miss her so dearly. She was an angel. She's the person that got me into wrestling. And as people also learn as time goes by, all the stories that I've told of things that I have and everything, I get to put it to life now. It's not simply just a tweet.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. It's going to be so much fun, man. I'm enjoying it so far. Tonight, it's going to be great with the Royal Rumble. Who are your picks to win the Rumbles?
With the women, it's so crazy because it's like, what do they have, 25 slots open? It's so difficult. I'd like to see Kano win it. Asuka win it, just because I'm a huge Asuka fan. But I would not be surprised if somebody like a Shayna Baszler comes out of nowhere.
You
You know
heard
what I
about
mean?
Io Shirai, right?
What about her?
Knee injury, out 2 months.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, and by the way, I need to remind again, you're on a laptop. I know the video and the audio might be a little, choppy at times, but we wanted to come up here and do
Right.
breakfast soup. So, this is just temporary. I just need to stress that, just temporary. I know some of you on the
Right.
download, you might hear a little, but my pick, if Ronda Rousey does not return, my pick is Shayna Baszler.
Yeah. That's a good pick.
I just think, I don't want it to be as much as Charlotte is, probably my favorite wrestling female in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't want her to win it. I think it's time to move aside.
She doesn't need to.
No.
Somebody else really needs that spotlight a little bit. Charlotte's had that spotlight for a long minute now. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a deserving spotlight on Charlotte. I like Charlotte's work. I think she's very charismatic. She carries the championship well when she has it. Charlotte is an ideal woman representative of the women's wrestling.
Can I just say something really
Now,
quick?
as far as
Can I just say something very
go
quick?
ahead,
Richard Adams, this show that you're watching, it's only available for patrons. This is not posted for non-patrons. I want to make that clear. Our Patreon exclusive stuff is Patreon exclusive. So, what you had said about, why am I paying $5 for something that I could get for free? Kevin's shows are audio only still. That will be on Patreon. That will not be on YouTube. This, like I said, is Patreon only. And like I said, there's going to be other things added to the Patreon too. If that's not good enough for you, look, I've said to everybody for the last 2+ years, you sign up, you're not happy for any reason, send me a private message. I will be more than happy, not insulted, would never say it publicly. And I've done it about 4 or 5 times. I'll be more than happy to refund whatever money you paid for that month. It's all good. But, the one thing, like I just wanted to just say that, and I apologize for interrupting you with that. I just wanted to make that clear as well, because I don't want people to think that, everybody right now can just look this up on YouTube. You can't. Patreon exclusive stuff is always unlisted. So, all right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But as far as the way that Charlotte is handled, she's done a very good job of being in her position. I think the women right now are in dire need of a. Becky is not carrying the division as much as they wanted her to. I mean, how far did they think a bloody nose was going to take them? Apparently, they thought at least a year. They never capitalized on that, and I know that they had the little rematch with her and Nia or whatever, but that never really scratched the itch of what Becky Lynch wanted to become. So WWE dropped the ball in that scenario. Becky was a good pick, but once again, poor execution. WWE is notorious for this, having great talent, great moments. Like you can see the cars getting ready to crash, and everybody's waiting for the explosion, and then I don't know. That's WWE.
Yeah.
But in this scenario with the Women's Royal Rumble coming up, I'd like to see, as you said, if Ronda Rousey doesn't show up, which I'm really expecting her to, it's way beyond the repair time of her hand. So there's almost like no her not to show up. And the fact that they've gone out of their way to make sure that nobody's even bringing up her makes me feel like she's definitely coming back. But
you don't know this.
Go ahead.
They debuted a new Ronda Rousey shirt on WWE Shop today. They leaked it out too early.
Uh-oh. Not the first time they fucked up by doing that. WWE's done that more than a few times, too. CM Punk, I think, was one of them back in the day.
Yeah.
But, so I'm expecting Ronda Rousey to come back. I don't know if I want Ronda to win, though, because Ronda's already established herself as such a strong female worker within WWE that while it would be a fun moment, it's not necessary. I think the Royal Rumble right now, especially for the women, you need to put somebody in charge. You need to give it to somebody that And while I'm at the same point, I'm saying Asuka out of fandom. Legitimately, though, I would love Shayna Baszler to actually just come in there like a cannonball.
I'm gonna.
As far as the guys go,
Yeah.
I said I'd like to see Keith Lee pop up out of nowhere for the same exact reason, kind of with the Wizards. You know what? The guys are all, the roster has been kind of stagnant as well. They need to shake it up, but they still have so many guys that are actually in there that just need a push. Guys like Aleister Black, it's like he would benefit probably the most from winning the Royal Rumble. I think it would actually make him a big time player, more than a B plus player. But honestly, I don't know.
I'll say this.
Sorry.
Salute.
Thank you.
I'll say this. I'm going to say this tonight on the Royal Rumble recap, regardless who wins. One thing that WWE has not done in these 6 months or whatever months it is since AEW has debuted on TV and NXT's went on the USA Network, what they really have not done is take anybody from NXT and graduate them to the main roster. I'm not saying that we haven't seen some NXT on the main roster, but you would think by now that somebody would have graduated, somebody, a big name that is now a regular on WWE TV. Nobody, for the most part, that is in NXT from the last 5 or 6 months that they have jumped to the main roster and stay there.
Right.
So they need, you feel like they need to have one. I would love to see Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler be the final 2. I think people would really get into that because of the history. But,
right.
If Ronda enters, I agree with you, though. Ronda doesn't need that moment, but I said this on Friday. I almost feel like WWE maybe possibly or they're thinking about doing what they did for Goldberg, righting the wrong. They righted the wrong of the bad taste that was left in everybody's mouths, including Goldberg, for what happened with him and Undertaker. So they put him against Ziggler. He dominated. He did not disappoint. They righted that wrong. I think WWE wants to right the wrong of how the ending of WrestleMania last year ended up. It almost feels like they want to revisit, not saying all 3 will be in the match, but maybe they want to revisit that match or part of it so they can right the wrong of how disappointing the finish ended up being. So it would not surprise me if Ronda wins it.
But that wouldn't be the main event. Okay, let's say that you're right and they're going to right the wrong and you'll eventually end up with a Charlotte versus Rousey or a Becky versus Rousey. You don't think they're going to make that the main event of WrestleMania 6, do you? Really?
I don't know. It's when you see, look, anybody out there that thinks that there's any contract issue with Becky in the WWE, get that out of your mind. This whole storyline about, the authority not letting her be herself and defending the belt. She's doing these women's empowerment meetings. She goes on WWE Backstage and throws those words out about why does women have to be next to a championship. This is all designed for something. And it would not, right now, it would not surprise me if Becky Ronda or Becky Ronda Charlotte would main event WrestleMania again. Becky Ronda might main event WrestleMania if Ronda's going to come back. And I just can't picture Ronda passing up another WrestleMania if she's not pregnant. And again, it's just too coincidental. The shirt comes out around the same time too. They're going to incorporate Ronda's name again. Maybe Shayna Baszler wins and Ronda just shows up and helps Baszler win, or maybe she does something to screw Becky. That could happen too. But I think, we might see Ronda or Shayna Baszler get it. I agree with you. On the men's side, again, somebody needs to graduate from NXT, for WrestleMania. I don't know if you have to win the Royal Rumble to graduate, but my heart would root for Otis. My mind and my heart roots for Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar. That would not be a main event. I wouldn't be surprised if that opened up Mania. But
I'm kind of
You know,
feeling.
I'll go as far with you on Otis because I think that would be hilarious. I don't know if I can see WWE
That's what he would
investing
do.
that kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I would love it. I think it would be great. I think if the crowd would laugh their asses off and have a good time with it, like maybe he can try to claim Mandy Rose as his prize. Who knows? But I just don't see WWE going that far with a comedy character. It's not time though, DT, that a comedy character has been taken seriously
I
for a
just.
minute by the crowd. Santino Marella and the Elimination Chamber for the title in Green Bay. I remember that very vividly. There was 60,000 people chanting Santino, and they were dead damn serious. And it was like, where the hell did that come from? And then next Monday night, goofy Santino. Mankind McFoley, another guy, complete joke. Everybody laughed, but when they wanted him to win that title, that was legitimate tears in his eyes and around the crowd too. Like there have been moments, but I don't know. Is Otis going to be the next comedy guy that people take seriously?
I tried a little brainstorm.
Shoot.
Maybe the Rocky 2 moment. Maybe we get a backstage segment tonight where Otis goes up to Mandy. Hi, Mandy. Hey, Mandy. Tonight's the Royal Rumble, you know. And then Mandy says to him, I want you to do one thing for me tonight. And Otis will go, what's that? Win. That's like the Rocky 2 moment.
It is.
It would be perfect. It would be perfect. And
That's
then,
funny,
oh, man, I think that would be funny. Hi, Mandy. Hey, Mandy.
Oh, Mandy.
Hey, yo, Mandy. I did it. Oh, man, that would be great. We'll
Can you
see.
throw me down a blessing? Oh, man. Otis is hilarious. He's a diamond in the rough. They found him out of nowhere. You know, like it's a great thing that he's, you know, a part of this. But I don't know. I don't know if I could put my actual chips in that bag. I'd love to, but Drew McIntyre just, man, I would rather give it to so many other people. Drew McIntyre's been around for a while, and I understand that there's, you know, there's a contingent of people that really feel for the guy that he should be in a higher position within the company. But he hasn't impressed me. He's been there again. This is a second run, and he hasn't done anything to impress me. Now, there's only so much you can blame on WWE. There's only so much that, you know, Drew McIntyre can fend off. At the end of the day, he's got to make it himself, and he hasn't done that, in my opinion.
Well, he's doing the interviews.
He has not done that.
He's doing the I think he read your mind because he's doing the interviews now saying, finally, WWE lets me be myself. Whenever you read an interview that they're letting me be myself, that means you're just trying to cover up the, you know, the inept or, you know, your history that was not on the level that it should have been. And you know what? He's got a lot of reasons to say that. But I don't know, I'm going to stick with mine. But I would think the Otis thing would be. And if that happens tonight, you know,
Otis
this clip
is a brilliant choice.
Yeah.
Otis is a brilliant choice. I think that would be a lot. Like, if WWE wants to go into this WrestleMania, that's what it is, too. Who wins this Royal Rumble should give you a shadow of what WrestleMania is going to be like. So if Otis wins this Royal Rumble, WrestleMania is going to be fun and silly and goofy and lighthearted. Like Drew McIntyre wins, though, it's going to be serious. It's going to be, you know, intense. They're going to try and focus on intensity for the WrestleMania.
Well, I'll tell you this much. If Ronda Rousey is going to come back, we'll probably know on the match placement tonight. If the men's Royal Rumble goes on early, then something big is happening in the women. I think the women will close out. And it'll be, the match placement of which Rumble happens first is really going to tell what, because look, as much as I want Drew McIntyre to win, or I would enjoy Otis, I just can't picture WWE going off the air with one of those two guys. So if the women go on early, then
Ronda.
a more predictable, if the women go on early, someone other than Ronda will win, and then you might have Roman Reigns at the end. If the men go on early, then somebody big is going to happen at the end. And I don't know if Shayna Baszler going off the air is that big WWE Universe pop moment. I think it would probably be like a Ronda or more household.
It would be a Ronda.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Look, I don't mean to bring up bad news again, but a lot of our patrons that are listening live right now pointing out that Kobe's daughter was on board. So 13-year-old daughter was also, yeah. Man, that's hard. That's hard. That's bad. So thoughts and
Wow.
prayers.
So even his lineage.
Yeah. Wow. Well, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Thoughts and prayers with his family, friends, fellow workers, fans. Sad. I think I might have Mish lost. I think I might have lost Mish. Not getting a stream from him. I'm sure if he's listening or he can hear this, or maybe somebody could point out to him that his connection is disconnected. So I don't know what happened here, but damn. Anyway, let me get into a couple of questions. First off, Super Nintendo. He went on a Jericho cruise with a couple of his friends. After that, they went to NXT Worlds Collide, and they're finishing up by going to tonight's Royal Rumble. So, Super, have an awesome time. Man, I'm just looking back at the chat room and to see as far as those, that were on board with it. Did he have more than one kid on the helicopter? Wow, he's got 4 kids. And there's some conflicting reports if it was one of his kids or 2. You back, Mish?
Yeah.
Okay. No, they would just, he's got 4 kids, and they don't know if, there's a little bit of discrepancy and dispute if one of his kids or 2 of his kids, but he's got 4. But, man, I don't know. It's now somebody saying that his daughter didn't die. Look, there's this stuff is going to be coming out, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. I mean, look what happened with the bombings in Iraq a couple of weeks ago. There were places reporting that 40 of the U.S. military were dead, and it ended up not one. I mean, I'm not saying that Kobe didn't pass away. Obviously, yes. But as far as who was on the helicopter with him, regardless of who it is, but you don't ever want to see, especially kids, man. I don't even want to think about that, man. Shit. But
no, it's dark.
Yeah.
It's really dark.
Yeah. Chat site wanted to let us know. I didn't know if you were aware of this, but on Discord, we're only 1 Nitro boost away from level 3. And what that ends up giving is 100 server emoji slots for a total of 250, 300 kilobytes per second audio quality, a vanity URL and 100 megabyte upload limit for all members. So that's pretty sweet. So I don't want anybody to think that we're abandoning Discord in any way because my move to video. Look at it more as an expansion. Sure. Gives people different options. I mean, one should not be the be all end all, but in no way, shape, or form should anything be taken away. But, I do admit, and I've said this before, that I will be focused on the YouTube chat because it's just so much bigger. And, I am now on video, but, we're not going to abandon Discord. I mean, there was too much time and effort put in there. Plus, you and I paid a pretty penny to get that Discord going, Sure. So that shit ain't going nowhere. But David Peralta, apparently, Wendy Williams is denying that she farted on television. Did you see all that controversy with Fartgate?
No, I've been on.
I was going to play the clip, but as I was preparing it this weekend, Wendy Williams came out and said that she did not fart.
She didn't fart.
No, she was doing some segment on her TV show, and after it was over, she just let one out, and it was very loud. Some people in her production team claim that what happened was they were no. Check this out. I don't buy this, but it's too wacky of a story to make it up. They said that they were cleaning and filling up a fish tank. They had a fish tank backstage, and they were cleaning part of the tank, some people working in the back, and it was right near like a production area. And if anybody's ever had a fish tank, you have that machine that blows out the water bubbles. And if you ever listen to that outside of the tank, it sounds like a fart. It goes, so they're claiming that it got caught on a live mic, that it was air from a bubble, So I believe it or not, I actually believe that. I believe that because that's just.
No, it's very common that production trucks have live mics in the back.
Yeah, but not right by a fish tank. You would think because.
Especially by a fish tank. I mean, what goes better with electricity than a giant full of water? I mean, that's where I like to keep my electrical things.
I just, it's too out there of a story. I mean, I just can't picture somebody in the back saying like, what do we do? She farted. How do we cover it up? And then somebody happens to look at a fish tank, be like, oh yeah, no. I don't know what to believe, but my girl.
We were playing around. We had a whoopee cushion.
My girl watches Wendy Williams. I can't get into her.
I'm sorry.
She used to be a radio disc jockey here in New York. I don't know if it was 98.7 Kiss FM it might have been, or BLS. She might have been a Kiss girl. If not, she was WBLS. But I know that she could have very well been Hot 97. But the Eric Swalwell video was pretty funny. I mean, he will have to deal with that for the rest of his life. The Wendy Williams Fartgate, though, I think that's going to go away quickly.
Fartgate?
Yeah, they're calling it Fartgate. Yeah, they're calling it Fartgate. But have you ever seen John Elite on Vlad TV? Supposed to be like he was an enforcer for the Gambino crime family, and he tells stories.
I think I have actually. Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it. I've never seen it. I think I've seen
that. Yeah. Sorry.
Never heard of Vlad TV before, but I'm gonna check that out. I mean, I took a lot of your advice, everybody, and watched The Irishman. I will admit I hated it. I don't know why it's up for Oscars. It wasn't as good as people think. I think, and I'm not saying this is be an asshole, but I think non-older Italian white guys are the ones who think it's Academy Award Oscar equality. I think older Italian white guys would be the ones that would be like, this is god awful. This is garbage. I mean, yeah, if you're in, it's almost like if you do a movie that talks about, I don't know, street life in the hood, something like that.
Right.
And you have black people will say, "Oh, this is garbage. That's not how it depicted at all. This is exaggerated." And then meanwhile, you got non-blacks who are like, "Oh, it's Academy Award quality." You know what I mean? Like, if you could relate to it a little bit more, like I can, especially my neighborhood and my background. I looked at it and I'm like, man, talk about exaggerated shit. I mean, some of the stuff was just, I could not. Halfway through it, I'm like, honey, we got to change the channel. This is crap. Crap. It was garbage. So, Steve Spiniak, Dragunov, NXT UK. You feeling them at all? You feeling them? Ilja, I think, Alja Dragunov.
I had enough time to watch him.
I'm not feeling him yet. Him, grizzled young veterans, some of these others. I brought this up last Wednesday on Wednesday Night Dynamite.
Right.
There's a lot of podcasts out there that only watch WWE. You know what I mean? They'll claim that they watch the other things, but you can catch them when you know that they're not watching anything else. So, but
I tried to watch NXT, but it's been real difficult lately because, like I said, moving around all the place. I mean, I'll be directly honest. Last few weeks, probably the last 3 weeks, it's been really difficult for me to keep up.
Right, but you don't lie about it.
The only thing I have to watch on is my phone.
But you tell the truth. I mean, there are people out there. They claim to watch NXT religiously, and then. Oh my God! Did you see what the Lars's move? That's impressive.
Right.
And we're like, I've seen it 65 times. What are you talking about? But the thing is that since you watch NWA, and I'll bring it up in a minute, but since you watch NWA, You watch
Pay-per-view was fun.
Yeah, you watch NXT UK when you can, regular NXT.
Sure.
You have Impact Wrestling. You
Although
watch.
I'm mad at NXT UK right now because they got rid of Jazzy Gilbert.
Well,
Gabbert.
that was her choice.
I know, but come on, man. You got a 6 foot, what, 3 German monster female, and you let her go? Are you dumb? WWE knows better than that. I mean, I don't know.
They should have tried to appease her. Look, stay 6 more months.
Yeah. Here, right. It's like we got WrestleMania around the corner. After that, that's when we bring everybody down. Come on.
Yeah,
Monster woman. And she's 37 years old. So look, I mean, the reality is life left. Just being honest. Not saying she's not capable of it. But when you hear a 37-year-old woman, you're not thinking, oh, she's got another 10, 15 years in the ring. Why dragging their feet on with this girl for? That just...
I would have liked to have seen her in the Women's Royal Rumble.
Never. Yes.
At least put her in the Women's Royal Rumble. Let her have a face-off with maybe Nia Jax or some, Tamina or somebody.
They're dragging their feet with Mercedes Martinez too. They're dragging their feet with a lot of these women. It's like, look, WWE, I really appreciate the fact that you guys are trying to go above and beyond to make women's wrestling more important to us. But can we stop with the politics? Face facts and get these women on TV?
I agree, man.
Because it feels like politics. It seems like the women are now dealing with the same kind of politics that the men have dealt with years. And it's like, it's really irritating because, unfortunately, factually, women have a shorter shelf life than men. It's just the way it is. So they don't have that extra 10 years to, hone there, learn all this and that. No, you take the people that aren't making you money, you move them aside, and you rush the system. The women's system should be a lot more, it should be a lot faster. Like the cycle through should be a lot faster. The fact that Becky's holding this title for a year or whatever, no, it shouldn't. It shouldn't be like that. Women don't have luxuries as men, and I know it's supposed to be an equal world, DT, but I'm not trying to be,
some things
to hold somebody back. I'm just being honest about it.
Some things, especially entertainment, as much as you want to try to make it equal, it'll never be equal. It's not. It's not. Being.
This isn't Anthony Missionary Thomas holding people back. This is me. This is how the industry has always worked.
Right. And you know what? It's not. I don't like when people be like, "Well, that's because the industry didn't give women an opportunity in years past." No, that's not cut and dry. It also reflects revenue, merchandise sales. A lot of the women from yesteryear, WWE would make the most amount of money from bikini posters instead of T-shirts. The fans dictate where it goes further. If the women just aren't generating sales, I'm not saying as a whole, but I'm just saying like in any, profession or any form of entertainment, then you go a different direction. If you look at these things like Temptation Island and stuff like that, yeah, you'll have a guy that's muscular without a T-shirt on, and you'll see but for the most part, they know that a majority of the people want to see the women half dressed.
Right.
When you see like The Bachelor, the girl is always sitting on the guy's lap. The guy's not, I'm not saying he's going to crush it by sitting there, but it's always goes, you got to see where business takes it. And WWE, even with the women of yesteryear, Lita probably is the most popular female from yesteryear. Some people may say Trish, but when Trish came back for that brief moment with Charlotte,
dude, that depressed the hell out of me.
Yeah, and
her
that's
retirement
WWE's fault.
Speech. Yeah,
no reaction.
She retired. Was it a Raw or was it a SmackDown? It was a SmackDown,
Raw,
right?
No, it was Raw. I'm pretty sure it was a Raw. It could have very well.
I thought it was a SmackDown she retired on, and it was kind of said, "See ya, folks," and that was it. No more Trish Stratus.
Yeah. A crowd really didn't care. Beth Phoenix, they brought her back.
Yeah.
Nobody. I mean, look, she's great as an announcer in NXT. She's doing a fine job, but people didn't really give a shit. They brought back with the 24/7 title, Candice Michelle, no reaction. Kelly, virtually no reaction. Right. It's just the women of yesteryear, like, you don't see people clamoring, oh, my God, why can't they bring this person back? Melina seems to be getting the most buzz, and that's because NWA is using her.
Well, I'm still a big cheerleader for Mickey James.
Oh
I
yeah.
think Mickey James is. I don't know what in the world the company is doing with her. I don't know why she's being so underutilized. Um, Somebody said that she might be an injury. I'm not 100% sure about that. It's been so quiet with her for such little time, you know. And Mickey James is somebody you would think would be having these drag out brawls with people like Becky and Charlotte and everybody else, because Mickey is talented enough, not only on the mic, but in the ring, to make the next generation of really look at Mickey James as the Chris Jericho of the women's division. And the fact that using her is just, once again, WWE.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, you guys have the talent, you guys have the people that are able and capable of great stars. You have great blue chippers in the men's and women's division. You guys have all the funds and everything, all the tools at your fingertips. But for some, I don't know if it's creative or a misfire or a lack of trying or whatever.
I think it's just
It just seems
perception.
like there's, man,
It's
because I
perception.
can see it. I'm sure everybody that's listening and watching us on Patreon can see a lot of these young talents and even some of these older talents being utilized in a way that would make wrestling, make WWE more important.
Right.
And it just, I don't know. It's like you're self-shrugging most of the times now.
Yeah. It's perception. Because if you look at all the women from yesteryear, you would think that the whole women's division from yesteryear was Lita and Trish. You know, they try to bring back some women, and you get a little nostalgia pop, but there's like very little reaction. And I said this a year ago, and I think it still stands for today. It feels like the Four Horsewomen and everybody else. No matter how much they want to try to push Lacey Evans, the women's division feels like the Four Horsewomen and everybody else. I
Lacey
laughed.
Evans is a bad gimmick. I mean, Lacey
Yeah,
Evans is
yeah,
talented,
sure.
but it's a bad gimmick.
Yeah.
You know?
But this is just the way WWE has been using the women for the last year. It's like when Ronda Rousey left, and they knew she was leaving, broken hand or not, she was still leaving. She was going to go make babies. But, you know, I laughed at the people that thought a couple of, like 2 months ago, they thought Dana Brooke was finally getting a push. I mean, like, none against her personally, but I'm like, you know, I don't know if people
That's
actually.
not the person that should be on the radar.
Right. There's so many other women that should be on the radar. That's why I think, you know, if Ronda doesn't come back and win it, Shayna Baszler. They need to graduate some people. You know, sorry, Dana. You just never cut it. You could blow Batista, you know, you can suck on your gums, you could do all this stuff.
Right.
You just aren't, you could fucking flex between commercials. You just don't cut it enough. You know, I think someone like a Shayna Baszler, Mercedes Martinez, or someone else is better fit to take that role than her. You know, I don't know. I just, we'll see what happens after tonight.
Right.
You know, and Steve wanted to send you a lot of love because he acknowledges the fact that it's not just me doing a lot of this behind the scenes. It's you, and I've been showing love to Shaheen and Dells as well. The four of us are working our asses off behind the scenes to make all this stuff work.
I'm just trying to catch up right now. Look, and I
totally
appreciate
understandable.
I appreciate well wishes and stuff like that, but the reality is right now I'm just trying to get situated and all my stuff out of because once I'm finally situated in Philadelphia with my own place, begin for me. Anyways,
Yeah.
So.
And again, you know, the video today with Mish is just temporary. There's a laptop.
You
know,
is.
you know, look, and I'm not trying to, you know, to start anything, but I just want to just say it like this. You know, if anybody that thinks that not doing video is because it's very technically complicated with equipment, let me just explain to everybody how we're doing this stream tonight. This is literally how it works. I email Mish a link. Mish clicks on the link. It says enter a password. You type in the password. His camera immediately connects to my computer, and I put Mish in here. That's all it is. It's literally clicking a link and entering a password. But the thing is, with a laptop, if with the settings, it could get a little complicated, and that's why you sometimes have choppy video, choppy audio. But
Right.
so that's the technical part of it. So there's not a lot involved, but your regular equipment, obviously you still got to set everything up. But in the next couple of weeks, you'll see things go back to norm, and it'll be bigger and better than before.
Right.
Paul
Absolutely.
Bielowski, talking about thick asses in wrestling, and he brings up, like a lot of other people lately, Tony Storm. Your thoughts on that?
I'm all right. She cute. I get it. Like I see what people are seeing, but it has to be one charming motherfucking pig. You know what I'm saying? She is not a person of interest based upon her personality alone. She falls into the Paige category. Is Paige very attractive? Absolutely is. Is Paige a perfect person? Absolutely not.
You looking at your screen?
So, yeah, I see her.
How
She is. She's gorgeous,
how
dude.
can anybody call
You would
that
have to
ugly?
be stupid to say no. Right. She is gorgeous. I'll never say she isn't gorgeous, but her person, she's not a girl you want to hang out with.
Adam,
Yeah.
Adam, I know Shaheen is spelled Shhin. I just always am used to saying Shaheen. I know it's really Shaheen, but I say Shaheen. That's how I've always
He
pronounced
says
it.
Shaheen, too.
Yeah, he says
says
Shaheen also. Actually, he called me up a couple of weeks ago. Hey, what's up? It's Shaheen. So no, I look.
I think the I is just a different pronunciation.
I have misspelled his name. Actually, you know what, Adam? If anybody talks to Shaheen, ask him. The other day, I sent him a PM and I typed out his name, Shaheen, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Shaheen, and I spelled it correct. I corrected myself.
Oh, I did that for years.
Yeah,
Don't feel bad.
yeah.
I think he spelled that way on Facebook on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe so his name would not be Googled and stuff. I mean, he doesn't have
Maybe.
anything shady, but
No.
some people tweak their names a little bit. I mean, on the outside world, I'm not Tony. I'm Anthony.
Right.
Everybody, 99.9% of everybody I know calls me Anthony. Even on the indie wrestling circuit, they would call me Anthony. Or they call me DT because they, the podcast and, hotline and stuff.
Sure.
But, what are your thoughts on Buddy Murphy winning the tag titles with Seth? I mean, I'm happy for Buddy Murphy that he's getting a little bit of more exposure, but I look at that and the only thing that comes to mind is why the fuck, unless they're going to do a swerve where this team gets frustrated with Seth, why did they not have AOP win these belts? Why was it a makeshift? I don't get that at all.
I like AOP. I like AOP. I can even tolerate AOP being Seth's bodyguards. Like, it physically makes sense. It helps Seth out. They can cover Seth's back. So the weaknesses of Seth being a not intimidating heel is now changed because of the presence of AOP and Buddy Murphy as well. But the fact that they won the tag titles, I don't know. I guess the way that I kind of look at it is because AOP are mercenaries for, they don't need the tag belts. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're almost making AOP look like a subpar Shield. Like, they're literally mercenaries for hire for stuff.
Yeah.
But his connection with Buddy Murphy.
Yeah. I totally agree. Absolutely. Just to let you know, there are a little more details coming out on the crash. Kobe Bryant, they were on their way to a Mamba Academy for basketball practice. So they were on their way to a basketball practice when the crash occurred. Haven't read anything else as far as, what caused it, but there's some photos of Kobe and his daughter at some recent games, and just sad, really sad,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just terrible. Absolute tragedy. So, Mike, your best bargains, any scenario where you see Brock winning the Rumble and then going on to defeat The Fiend and becoming Brock Two Belts?
I don't know. I didn't really put Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble to win it, so
He's gonna be one of the first eliminated. Or he's gonna leave the ring and, don't need this. Fuck this.
right.
I don't. I can't believe how many people that think that Brock Lesnar is going to win the Royal Rumble. I'm like, since when is Brock Lesnar in a 90-minute match or a 70-minute match, or hell, how many times do you get a
Right,
7-minute match? Something about it. I don't see it.
It's not necessary either. I
No.
mean, Brock Lesnar, once again, very established person. You're not. What are you going to gain by Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble? An opportunity at Bray? Technically, he could get that anyways. So I don't know.
Andrew 914, some of our worst boring Royal Rumble matches that we never watch again. Some of the old ones, that just were very uneventful. I mean, look, some Royal Rumbles have had their moments without a doubt. Some finishes have been phenomenal over the years,
Sure.
but you always think of the finish with Bret Hart and Lex Luger. You think of Diesel with all his eliminations. You never hear them talking about the match itself. And unfortunately for me, John Cena's surprise return, as odd as it is, I brought this up before. That Royal Rumble, I was in my house. I had Jay Lover, who some of you on the indie circuit will remember, Northeast. Jay Lover was in my house. I don't know if it was Reefer, a couple others. We were all hanging out watching the Royal Rumble at my house. And when John Cena's music hit, I can honestly say that everybody in the house, including me, popped for it. Like we just, it was just like a really cool surprise. I mean, yes, look, John Cena's character at the time, we didn't like the overall, but
Right.
other than, for me, it's more about moments than the actual matches. But the Royal Rumble where Ric Flair won the belt, that's my favorite match, Royal Rumble match of all time.
Okay.
All the other ones, look, they again, it's been great moments. Diesel making a return, Bubba Ray Dudley making a return, AJ Styles showing up, to bring up more recent ones. But I even joked about, the Roman Reigns number 30, just all the negative reaction it got. And even though I was just going to say, even though I joked around about it on social media, I don't know how far off I am on this. I wonder, in the 2017 Royal Rumble, when they announced Roman Reigns as number 30, and you see the fan reaction around the world hating it, I honestly wonder if some people who work behind the scenes in AEW may have looked at a moment like that and said, you know what, we got to make an alternative. Look at all, it's not coincidence.
Right.
You look at every single person that was bitching and complaining on that video montage I played on Friday. They're all around the same age. That is the age group that AEW has attracted for the most part. I honestly think that some people in wrestling said, we got to fucking come up with an alternative. Even if Lucha Underground said, we got to do this another season. You know what I mean? Like, I guarantee you some people in wrestling looked at that Roman Reigns moment and looked at the age group of, and look, we could have played hours of people complaining. And I think that moment sparked a lot of people to really push to make an alternative. As crazy as it sounds, I believe that. So, the Mike Awesome Spike Dudley feud in ECW, it really wasn't much of a feud. I mean, it was just big guy destroying the fuck out of little guy. Spike Dudley, ECW used Spike Dudley correctly. He had a tag team title at some point, but for the most part, he would get destroyed. Mm-hmm. And the more he got destroyed, when he hit a Dudley dog, whatever it was, people would get a kick out of it. Dudley Death Drop. No, the Dudley
Death Drop. It was the electric chair.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, that might have been it. But whenever he did get offense, people popped even more. That's why I call.
Or was Dudley Death Drop the one where did the headbutt to the nuts?
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
The Dudley Death Drop I think was 3D. Because Dudley
Those are the
Death
regular
Drop
3D?
3D.
Okay,
Yeah, no.
yeah.
The Spikes was the Dudley Dog. I think that's what they called it. I don't know.
Right.
I don't remember. Wasn't it the Acid Drop? It might have been the Acid Drop in ECW, but WWE would never use the term acid, for a move. But that's why I called Marco Stunt Marco Runt, because it feels like the same way that TNA was using Brother Runt. Brother Runt would have too much offense. That son of a bitch made his most money and his best money, in ECW, getting his ass kicked because they saw his size. And,
Right.
when he fought Mike Awesome and Mike Awesome tossed him around like a salad, that was the right way to go. But we were all fans of Spike Dudley. You can be fans of a wrestler that loses and gets squashed all the time.
Yeah.
Ash Kruger, hypothetical. Obviously, I'm not single. You are currently. The hottest woman you've ever seen gives you one chance to have sex with her. The only condition is that she has to wear one of those Chewbacca masks during the act. Would you do it?
No. Yes. Of course I would. Come on now. Jesus Christ. Chewbacca mask.
You know what's funny, man? I swear to God.
It's not like you can't take off the mask, right?
You can't take off the mask. No.
Oh, you can't?
No. She would have to wear the mask during the whole beginning to end.
Yeah. You know.
Matt Zombie, who used to do a wrestling hotline with me. And I guarantee you, I don't know about Patreon, but if I mention this maybe next Wednesday, if somebody reminds me, I guarantee you will have people from my hotline days that will come out and say that they remember this vividly. Matt Zombie used to joke and laugh about the fact that he used to have sex with his girlfriend. He'd wear a La Parka mask during the whole entire act.
Really?
He would wear a La Parka mask throughout the whole entire act. He would sleep with his girlfriend and wear a La Parka mask.
That's
Don't ask
funny,
me
so.
why, man. Did you hear about Justice Payne? I don't know if you ever really followed him much. Yeah, he committed suicide.
I know
Friday.
he's an XPW guy, CZW guy, Brother Gage. Yeah. And Nick Gage was even wrestling.
Yeah.
Right when the news broke, he was in GCW. He was at that event, and
It's rough, man.
a little rough.
Same age as Kobe Bryant, 41, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but Justice Payne took his own life.
Yeah.
Off of a bridge, apparently out here in PA. So,
are you serious? I didn't hear about that. There were a couple of conflicting things. That's why I never brought up
well, I'm going by the people.
I know you told me.
Obviously,
Yeah,
mutual friends.
Yeah.
But
wow, that's rough.
Sad, man.
Yeah,
sad.
I tried to.
I remember Justice Payne back in the day with KAOS and stuff like that. And I remember those days. I remember Justice Payne. I recently found out that he was Nick Cage's brother. I didn't know that until the other day.
Yeah. No, Nick Wilson, Christopher Wilson. I think that's their names.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
we would have
basic
I know.
name, right?
But I didn't follow his career very in depth. I mean, I remember some of his CZW and obviously the XPW, and then him showing up at Jersey All Pro.
Yeah, did you ever work with him?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I was never on the same show as far as managing goes, but his XPW matches, I was at the timekeeper's table. The Jersey All Pro, somebody called me out on it the other day, and like I say, when I tell stories over the years, I usually have proof. When I talked about how I managed in Jersey All Pros, their minor league fed, they had a smaller fed where, people would hone their skills. Somebody called me out claiming that I was full of shit. Not only did two wrestlers, I'm not going to mention their names publicly, but not only did two wrestlers shut this person up quickly, but I got pictures of me in the ring managing Reefer in Jersey All Pros minor fed. So I pulled them, I found them, and I'm going to, rub it in this person's face next week.
Good.
But, Justice Payne, I met him a couple of times in XPW. I remember clearly, and I talked about it on Friday, I remember clearly when XPW was bringing him in from CZW. And that guy had nuclear heat.
Right.
nuclear heat on the East Coast. He was arguably the most hated motherfucking hardcore guy on the Northeast at that time. People would not forgive him for leaving CZW to go to XPW. It was big news at the time. But
I just really found out, and I guess this is part of me moving now. I'm really starting to find out how much just disdain there was for XPW being out of PA and stuff like that. Because see, when I discovered XPW because of the DVDs, because I was following it online from friends, like forums, like on forums back in the day, which most people don't even remember what those are, but back in the day with forums, we would just trade videos and find, like people would upload their DVDs and stuff. So I found XPW through that. But Chicago, we had no clue about the politics surrounding the company and stuff. Like, really wild to hear some of that stuff.
That's why as I get more familiar with video and I start adding more shows, I am definitely going to bring up, the entire Northeast situation with XPW, because I was there for the whole time. The only time I was not there is when they had their last show in Pittsburgh. I was supposed to go to Pittsburgh. Anybody that was involved will tell you I was supposed to go to Pittsburgh. I was going to do the bus trip.
That's an untold story. You realize that, right? Like,
I
don't think most fans outside of PA or Jersey even know about that.
There are somebody, I don't remember the guy's name, but somebody did a wonderful tribute to XPW a couple of years ago and actually included some of my stuff in there as well. But as far as somebody who was not a wrestler who was working for them on the inside, I was there. I mean, I was in the ECW arena that Saturday afternoon when they were having a state athletic commission meeting because they were trying to ban all hardcore, ultra-violent stuff in Philly to try to screw XPW. And I remember I talked about it briefly on Friday. And Bill Apter's still alive. And anybody who wants to call me out on it, they can ask him. I remember to this day, Bill Apter going up to Shane Douglas right in front of us and saying, look, do you want me to go to the meeting too? And I'll try to, to see what I can, there's 1,000 stories that I can tell. Even when I was telling about the hotel rooms and seeing Danny Doring running up and down the hallways naked, somebody actually confronted him and said, de Blasio claims this. And I don't even like telling stories like that because that's their private lives.
Right.
But, me early on, I don't like name dropping names like I used to. I keep things private. Some people gush over it. But, I felt really bad after bringing that up. Somebody went up to him. And what did he say? Oh, yeah, I remember that shit. You know what? Tell de Blasio I said hello. You know what I mean? It's just like he was really, really cool. But, I'm going to share quite a bit of what went on the Northeast at that time. It was something, like I said, if you follow what the news media that despises Trump, not on that level, but that was the same thing with a lot of wrestling websites towards XPW. If you take Trump's name, put XPW instead, and you take fake news and put wrestling websites, same thing. It was a pretty wild to live through it, but I love that memory, man. And I enjoy, talking about I keep a lot of things private. I mean, there's one story, I don't know if
that's like a big story. Like, that's something, I think a lot of people would love to hear your side or, maybe you talk to some of the people.
I just got to be very careful with some personal stories because, they're all verifiable, but some things I can never tell.
Right.
There's one story I know you're talking about right now, that you're thinking about right now, that involving me and, something that I had the opportunity to do that I passed up. And
yes.
Yeah, I can't. I couldn't even reveal it on Patreon.
Well, I'm not even bringing that up because I mean there's a few reasons to talk about that, but still.
Yeah.
Right.
But maybe one day.
That's not even what I was. I was saying the actual politics of like the fans and.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh my God.
Like, dude, I didn't even know that it was that. Like, I mean, when you talk about stuff like taking the school bus to the ECW arena and bringing all those fans and stuff, like there was actual politics behind all that. It's crazy.
I'm the one that came
it's
up.
It's wild, man. It's just.
It was me when everybody sees Mike Johnson's bus trips and he had fans on wrestlers on the bus doing Q&A and stuff. I'm the one that came up with that originally.
Right.
It was my original idea, and he actually started doing it himself. there was a lot of. I always try to think outside the box, and you know,
Right.
we have the one good thing is, you know, I'm not. From what I believe, I'm not dying anytime soon, so I will have plenty of time to do this on video. And I apologize for anybody who's been following me for years that will hear some stories retold. But on YouTube and on video, now a gigantic new audience is hearing it. So that's why sometimes I do have to bring up some things that I've brought up before. Got to just understand, you know, Patreon is, you know, 600 to 700, you know, the net. I mean, you know, I'm already almost up to 6,000 subscribers, and page is not even going for 2 weeks, you know. And the one thing I love about it is we got 6,000 people to sign up because they want to hear it. Like I joke about it on social media. You see, there's some people on social media have 6,000 followers, but they also follow 6,000 back, because a lot of people that follow them, it's called a follow back. You know, oh, I'll follow this person, and that person will follow me back. So my numbers go up, and that person's numbers go up. And I love the fact that I have 6,000 subscribers as of right now, not because I followed them first, but because they like what they see. So, Fatty316, do we think, oh, I actually brought this up on my solo show. He wanted your opinion on it. Do you think some people are walking away from wrestling because of real life dramas and the social justice aspects of it? Like they're just getting away from wrestling as a whole? You think just like a lot of what, you know, in the real world?
Not necessarily the real world drama. I think wrestling fans enjoy the drama, real world or otherwise, but the politics really turn people off. I can see that immediately. Look, drama because, you know, you had a titty picture slide out on the internet, people watch that and see your but when you start making claims that, you know, Trump is evil or Trump is the greatest, and you start really bending the lines and blurring the lines where the character ends and where the person begins. Like, I mean, somebody can follow Tony, right? And they can enjoy the character of John Tony, but they want to know the politics of Anthony. That's fine. If that's what you're looking for, then enjoy it. But I think there's a viewing audience when they start going on social media looking up their heroes or the characters that they like, and they start seeing these crazy opposing political views or this cancel culture attitude or this SJW attitude. I see a lot of people going, I'm good, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Doesn't help.
That's why, you know, even with these shows going video, it's like I can't get bogged down in drama. That's what stops you. You know what I mean? Like it's just positive, nothing but positive. And you can't, you know, there's always going to be drama. And there's always going to be, you know, bumps in the road in all of our lives. Everybody listening, you and me, I mean, you're going through it. I'm still going through a lot of bumps in the road that I don't bring out publicly.
Sure.
A lot of pressure, you know, even, you know, in the other room right now, you know, I popped the question now, you know, I got to start preparing for a wedding here. I can't just say, okay, I just asked the question. Now, 5 years from now, we could no, it's just life keeps going. You can't put it on pause, and I can't put any of this on pause. And, you know, let me ask you this as far as drama in wrestling. I know, you know, you have already expressed some very great views on the Tessa Blanchard situation. We're not going to revisit it here. Plus, we're going to be done in a couple of minutes because I know everybody wants to go watch the Royal Rumble pre-show. We promised everybody we'd be done by 5. But let me ask you this. I don't know how much you've paid attention to Allison Kay on social media, but does she come across to you as somebody absolutely obsessed with Tessa Blanchard having any success?
Oh, she's got an agenda. I got an agenda. I mean, but here's where it gets tricky. Is her agenda based on what she said to Rosa Negra, or is her agenda based on something else more personal? Or does she feel like she's trying to become this protector against us? Like, unfortunately, the idea is I think she has good intentions, but now she's letting them control her. Like she's going too far. I don't think Tessa is the be all end all of evil in the women's locker room. You know,
You think
with
there's
that said, people that are still offended by what she said, they have every right, and that's that. You can't tell them otherwise, and you shouldn't. But if you're trying to sit there and make her into some kind of like you're trying to martyr her or something, I can't get behind that.
I said this Friday. I'm gonna do a little more detailed commentary on Wednesday, but the NWA pay per view was a lot of fun. Allison
Yeah.
Kay, yeah, she and Thunder Rosa tore it up, and it was an awesome match.
Allison
And,
Kay was a little sloppy. I'll be
yeah,
honest, she was a little sloppy that night.
but
Look,
they tore it up. Do you think Thunder Rosa could
Yeah.
be the woman that everybody wanted Tessa Blanchard to be? Like, do you think she could be, do you think that, like Tessa Blanchard obviously made history, whether you like her or not. But do you think that Thunder Rosa's performance and so much good about her and the likability of her besides the wrestling, do you think that Thunder Rosa could be that person who is not in WWE or AEW that could be the focal point of women's wrestling than Tessa Blanchard?
Not if this is her resume. No, she
Okay.
needs more.
Okay.
Not to say that technically woman has the opportunity to be the woman as far as the independents go, as far as the groom for the next generation. La Rosa, or Thunder Rosa, sorry. Thunder Rosa, by the way, doesn't have enough just yet. If her career, if she has a better reach, if she's involved in more companies, involved in more storylines, I could see something like that. But then you're also talking about that's the same case for a lot of if they're put in more scenarios, if they try harder, if they become a professional face for women's wrestling. I mean, people just look at Tessa and the first thing that they see is Impact. It's kind of unfair. She does a lot more than just Impact, and you have to attribute a lot of that going to places like and the whole rumor there was David McLean and Jeannie Buss told everybody that works on the WoW roster to fucking shut up. This Tessa thing, do with you. Shut up. So it's not really too surprising that a lot of the WoW girls, I think one person said something underneath the WoW locker room, but the other 99% didn't say a word. And you're talking about a woman who's not only on TV for WoW, but she's the of that entire company and is also backed by a billionaire Lakers owner. So Tessa has a lot of power and clout within women's wrestling right now, whether people for another woman to step forward that of clout, you're going to need more than just a strong will, a good wrestling attitude, a good wrestling ability. You're going to need money. And these are things that are not readily given to just every woman in wrestling. Tessa Blanchard, and this is hard to say because it's an ugly thing to say, but there's going to be a lot of women that are going to be jealous of Tessa Blanchard just because of who she knows.
Yeah. Do you think a man or a woman is going to take the belt off of Tessa in Impact? D-Boy Gentleman asked that. It's a pretty interesting question.
That is a good question. I think it's got to be a man. Because, and the only reason I say this, because if you have a woman take it off of Tessa, you kind of shift that power over to the woman.
Right.
But
and to me, that belittles the Knockouts title.
And take right. But not only that, if you have a man take it off of Tessa, that means she can like a woman and still lose like a man.
I think Sami Callihan should be the one to take it back eventually. I think Sami Callihan
could be somebody completely different.
Yeah. Well, I think he'll regain it. But Mario wants to know what would we like to see change, if anything, regarding AEW or NXT. One thing you could change right now.
Oh, come on now.
Anything. Just it could be a small thing.
AEW needs to fix their goddamn audio production. It is a running gag at this point. Every single episode, every single one has errors. I don't know what interns they have running that shit. It and it's neat. Like it's to the point that Matthew of Botchamania like did like a 10-minute set how bad their audio quality is. It's just the misfires keeps like just oh my god, this is like some high school level entering this stuff. I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah. About NXT.
The announcers.
Really? Okay. That's interesting.
They need I want more Morrow. Can we stop putting Morrow on the back? Can we stop pretending like Morrow did something wrong? You know, I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, look, I know everybody loves Nigel and stuff, but
me for AEW, I was saying Game Genie rules, but it seems like they've addressed some of that. More character development. Character development, I think, number one. NXT, I would keep UK more separate. As much as I like Imperium and everything else, I don't think NXT UK needs to commingle with NXT. There are so many people on the back burner, even with the women, like you said, Mercedes Martinez and others. Sure, Worlds Collide is, an event and everything, but Worlds Collide didn't even draw all that well yesterday. I mean, some people posted pictures, and I usually don't comment on them, but they posted pictures while people were wrestling. And Worlds Collide did not draw anywhere near as good as WWE expected it to be. I think you keep UK separate. Just let it be, if you want to do it once a year, fine. I think you don't need Imperium showing up week after week after week and vice versa. I would take away, that involvement to maybe just one time a year. Maybe you do it around WrestleMania time. Maybe you don't need that WrestleMania part of it. You could do it halfway through.
Right.
But I just feel when you have that many people visiting the United States from overseas, WrestleMania weekend, that's probably the best time to put UK versus regular NXT, because you have so many international people touring here anyway. They'd be more inclined to support their homeboys. So,
right.
But yesterday was a great show. Yesterday was a fabulous show.
It was.
It was fun. It went fast. Went very fast. Aaron, some rapid fire. The Animal Edition. The male lion or a tiger? Like who would head to head? Male lion, and he's doing like some animal head-to-heads, like rapid fire. Like who would win, or you think
who would win in a fight?
Or who would you choose? Like a lion versus a tiger? He sent them. The king of the jungle. Yeah, me too.
Right, lion.
Silverback gorilla or grizzly bear? I think a grizzly bear.
Silverback gorilla.
Really? Okay, I go with the bear. Great white shark or an orca? Killer whale.
Orca. Lord.
Little grown-up Don Tony. When I was 300 plus pounds as a 20-something-year-old or a teen, my friends used to call me Orca.
Did they really?
Yeah, they called me the Michelin Man. They called me Orca. They called me a lot of names. So that's not a fun time. A lot of people today would say, "Oh, I was bullied." It was my friends being dicks. Black Mamba. Yeah, Black Mamba snake or King Cobra snake?
Black Mamba.
Okay, I'll go with that. The peregrine falcon, which is the fastest living thing on the earth.
Peregrine falcon, yes.
Or golden eagle.
Peregrine falcon.
Yeah, me too. Octopus or jellyfish?
Octopus.
Yeah, all those arms. Praying mantis or chameleon?
Chameleon.
Yeah, praying mantis. They don't impress me. They're cute. I know a few people that own them over the years, but
I don't think I like chameleons. I like lizards. I'm a lizard guy.
I don't like lizards at all. They kind of skeeve me a little bit. I did see on the news about Florida when they had the cold temperatures that the iguanas were falling out of the trees. And there was a guy that thought they were all dead or thought maybe they were alive and put them all in his car to bring them like home. And because the car was warm, they all woke up and they all started like attacking him. I swear to
That's
God, it's a
funny.
funny story. You got to look it up online. But Komodo dragon or crocodile?
Crocodile. Shit. Probably the Komodo dragon.
Yeah, dragon would
Honestly.
lift them up and just fucking, or just spit fire.
I don't know. It depends on the crocodile, though, because some of them look like they are prehistoric creatures. Like, even their teeth aren't even aligned. It's crazy.
Yeah. The bull elephant or a black rhino? You put a lot of thought in this question. Yeah, me too. The black widow spider or scorpion?
Scorpion.
Okay, I got to go with the black widow spider. And Tyrannosaurus Rex or a little mouse like Jerry Mouse?
T-Rex.
I go with the mouse because I could just picture a Tom and Jerry cartoon like the Tyrannosaurus Rex is going, like running down the, like maybe like, I don't know, in the mountains, and like a little mouse just like falls through the crack, and then the dinosaur falls off the cliff, and you just see that plume of smoke on the bottom.
You know what this actually looked like? This sounded like wrestling questions in the form of just small.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
So
you could have said Rey Mysterio or Big Show.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. Aaron, the rest of your questions we'll tackle next week because obviously we want to finish this in 5 minutes, and everybody wants to get the Royal Rumble, and plus you add them up.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot. Chat site, what AEW wrestler it's never been in the WWE that we think we could see one day jump to the WWE?
MJF.
Okay, yeah. I don't know how much WWE would tone down his character, but I could see that. I could see Omega. I could see Guevara.
Omega.
I think Guevara could be possibly NXT. You know, he's still got a long way to go, but you know, those three come to mind. I would love to see the Lucha Brothers.
You know who would actually probably end up there? Like, let's say everything shit the bed. I would see the Young Bucks there.
Yeah, I could see
If
that.
everything shit the bed and then AEW was gone,
Could you imagine?
I could see the Young Bucks up in WWE.
Could you imagine whether it's 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 2 years from now, if they ever signed to the WWE? Could you imagine what would happen online if they did an interview and said our goal was always to come to the WWE? Like a lot of people do. You imagine all the people on. Oh my God!
Oh yeah.
That would be a fun moment just to see people's reactions. It'd be like, what?
So see, boom.
Reality just drive. I think Dixie Carter had those moments. Dixie Carter, I honestly think she had.
Oh, and she did that.
Yeah, when she had always felt that the TNA people like just look, they cared about her too, but I think she thought that some people would stay more because of who she was and the connection, than just business. And I think when some people left, for greener pastures and ended interviews, I think she really got her feelings hurt. I think she got a real big dose of reality that a lot of what was fed to her because people wanted the moolah.
Sure, absolutely.
Spider Lewin, a character not currently portrayed in wrestling that we think would work. I would have used MJF like an entitled millennial, but he's kind of doing that, but he's just more of a dick. I mean, he does act like a millennial a little bit.
I still think an openly bruiser, an openly gay bruiser.
Mitch,
the whole Lars thing, and I joked about that a couple times. Matter of fact, me and you talked about it. Lars, people know what Lars looks like. You take a guy that looks like that, and you publicize the fact that he's gay, and then he's coming after other people. I think that could be very interesting.
His finisher could be grabbing someone in the nuts. I'm not joking either.
It could be, yeah, but just the savage.
Could you
just
picture
him breathing down somebody's neck?
Could you picture him using that as a finisher, and as he's grabbing the person in the nuts, he's got this smile on his face? Or if it was the Attitude
but I could
Era,
see him doing that as like a setup, or like maybe
a
not
choke slam, but using the nuts instead of using.
Yeah, but I mean, he could do that like in order to screw with somebody. You know what I mean? You don't change change his wrestling, do something like that to get into somebody's head. You know what I mean? And then that breeds a whole different of storyline and creativity. You know,
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing because gay people have always been seen as dainty or goofy, like it's seriously. And to take a gay person not only seriously but make him violent, I think
That would
it's a
be,
unique turn.
yeah. I don't know if they would want a vicious animal who's gay on TV. You know what I mean? Like it almost
It's a
feels.
perfect
Oh,
change.
I agree, but I
Yeah.
wonder if you would have people that would jump a bandwagon to say, you see, they're depicting gay people as monsters. I could picture that.
Oh, that would be horrible.
I
You know
know.
what? You're right. You're right. There would that would throw that out there, going, "See, WWE treating gay people. Look, that's the of." It's like, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I
That's
get
sad.
that feeling that's why you always got to look one step ahead when you think
You're
of
right.
ideas,
Yep.
because, and unfortunately that small audience that says that, it would catch on from the people that just do nothing but complain. And even if they don't agree with it, they'll just join the bandwagon just to feel part of the conversation. So it
Right.
sucks. Yeah.
Even though the reality is not only are you opening up the door for more gay gimmicks, but you're changing the way that they've been last 40 years.
It would be interesting.
Oh, the
though.
culture.
I think another promotion would take a chance with something like that. I don't think WWE would. I could see that happening like a GCW or
Right.
not necessarily Japan, but I could see a different promotion doing something like that. Something that everybody should do before they're 30. I don't know.
All your sexual cons.
What'd you say?
All of them. All your sexual conquests.
Oh,
You
your
want a
fantasies.
threesome? Get a threesome. You want a foursome? Get a foursome.
Yeah.
Want to get into them shit? Do all that shit before you're 30.
Yeah, Roger, honestly, when 30 came, for me, it was just another day. People that know me know when my birthday comes around, to me, it's just another day. I know why some people, it's almost like it's got to be a national holiday. I respect that. But for me, when I turned 30, to me, it was no big deal. I would just, don't put a time on something, but don't let years go by. Because trust me, like I was joking, even with these shows, I was joking with people online, and I was saying, I regret not going video years earlier.
Right.
Things happen for a reason. I don't, as much as I regret not starting earlier, hey, I can't change history. The only thing I could do is change the future and,
Right.
follow.
Fix the future.
Yeah, and fix the future. So I would not put a timestamp on it, but I would not keep putting things off to tomorrow or next year or something, because before you know it, a year goes by, 2 years go by, 5 years go by, 10 years go by,
Yep.
and then you realize, man, those are years I'll never get back. And I think some people out there should not take life so seriously. I don't think anybody out there is looking at others under a microscope. And I think people just need to sometimes just not take themselves as so seriously. Me, I definitely don't take myself anywhere near as serious as I used to. I just have fun. I don't give a shit if people want to laugh. I'm just having fun. I'm enjoying myself, and that's all that matters. We're going to wrap this up in a minute because it's right around pre-show time for Royal Rumble. Kyle, I'll talk about the Brewers and Jed Goyko next week, since I know Mish not really with baseball and the Brewers. I will be doing a baseball-related podcast in the near future. You're going to see so many different clips online. And the cool thing about it is all I got to do is just a couple of buttons, go on here, talk about whatever. And
Right.
so, yeah, you're going to see. I mean, I talked to Joey yesterday. Joey Numbers and I are going to do one episode in a month or two. We're going to hype it up tremendously because Joey and I butt heads almost about everything. And we're going to let everybody out there basically topics in advance. We're going to debate women in wrestling. We're going to debate Flippy. We're going to debate AEW. We're going to debate Conrad, politics, Trump, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. Joey and I are going to have an epic showdown on YouTube. It's going to be video, and it's going to happen in about a month or two. And there's so many things planned. Andre Corbeil, you have no idea. You have no idea. And I know that there's always going to be people out there jealous. I know that there's some people in the podcasting world that are very bitter that there's success going on over here. But me, I'm just focused in on us, all of us, Mish include all of us, and having a blast, And, not everybody finds going video with podcasting is their bundle of joy. Other people have different ways that they enjoy themselves. I totally respect that. All I ask is respect my enjoyment. I respect your enjoyment. Have you ever had sciatica? In the
sciatic
back?
nerve? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had it briefly about 10 years ago. I was prescribed, I don't know if it was amitriptyline. There was another medication that they prescribed me also, and it was the worst feeling in the world. I remember taking it. I don't remember the name of it. I remember taking it, and as weird as it sounds, we'll be done within 5 minutes. But
Okay.
I remember sitting at a red light behind the wheel, and I remember somebody dropping something or something on the outside to my right, and I went like this to see what it was. And I don't know if anybody understands when I say this, but when I turned this way, like my head went this way, but inside of my brain went like this. You ever do that where you turn your head fast, but your mind and your brain is not catching up?
Yes.
That's what I felt like. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I made a right turn. And as I'm making a turn, it's like my peripheral vision was going like this in slow motion. I had to go back home. I never took the medicine again. It was a nerve medicine.
That's crazy.
It was
Dear Lord.
crazy. I got to remember that. I know amitriptyline, I was prescribed once for nerve pain not too long ago.
Right.
But it was crazy shit, man. But good luck with you with the doctor, seriously. With that, there's only a couple of questions left, and some of the questions that we're holding for next week are Aaron and Kyle's. That's pretty much what we're saving for next week because we got some already. But we're gonna go because we want everybody to enjoy the Rumble. You're going to be doing a Royal Rumble recap tonight with John and Joey, correct?
Sure.
Okay. Everybody, check out Wrestling Soup's recap tonight. Same links as always. Yeah. I'll be with Kev.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, and then just regular. So as of now, Mish and I will do another breakfast soup next week. Maybe we'll save it for the weekend and see how everybody feels about that with being a weekend show. And then we'll play it by ear after next week. Then maybe we'll start doing it every other week. But like I said, if Breakfast Soup ends up being every other week, there's other things that are going to be going down Patreon exclusive as well. So I don't want anybody, it's, just basically trying to spread everything out to really, maximize the enjoyment. But Mish, I'm glad that things are starting to get situated for you. Good luck with everything with that apartment. And, if you need me for anything, I'm here for you, my friend.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. And see you guys tonight. Much love, guys.
All the best, my friend. Take care. All right, everybody. Be well, Mish. I'm going to jet out of here because I still got to do some work to get this online tonight. Cool thing about YouTube is all I got to do is hit one button and the stream stops, but I got to put an audio version of this as well. And I apologize for anybody out there, that, especially if you're listening to the audio and, Mish's audio is a little choppy. Keep in mind, like I said, he only has his laptop right now for access. And, the quality was not that spectacular, but we wanted to do an episode of Breakfast Soup. I know everybody on video really had no issues, with it, but some on the download, you might hear a little bit of choppiness, and that's just temporary. The guy just came to Philly, has 90% of his boxes still packed, and still needs to look for an apartment. So there's a lot of things going on, but if you're around tonight, and you're more than welcome to join me on YouTube, or if you want to hang out with Kev on Discord, both will be open tonight for everybody. We'll be starting live 10 minutes after the Royal Rumble ends, so we don't know exactly what time it ends yet. And just to let everybody know, as a programming note, from now on, Monday's DTKC show will start from now on at 11:15 p.m. Eastern, just as before, and it will go to 12:30 a.m. So that is the plan going forward. We were starting at 11. The problem is that there's a lot of rumors that WWE starting to do overruns again. And especially since there's the extra step of setting up video, and I have to set up Discord, because that's what Kev is on. Starting the show on Mondays at 11:15 gives me that extra 5 to 10 minutes of preparation. And believe me, when the shows are over at night and I have that a little bit extra preparation, it'll allow me to get this stuff up quicker as well. So starting tomorrow, Monday night, January 27th, DTKC show will go back to the 11:15 start time, and it will run until 12:30 sharp. 12:30 comes, shows are done. 75 minutes a pop, and then you have Kev's Patreon shows on Tuesday, which are audio only. Use the Discord as before. Wednesday night Dynamite. Thursday is Wrestling Soup night. Friday, maybe we'll return to Q&A. I think I am going to bring that back next week since everybody online loved that. And then over the weekend, we'll do another episode of Breakfast Soup, and then we'll go from there. But as I said, the YouTube-only shows that I do, even the little clips here and there, I will always put audio-only versions on Patreon exclusively for all of you. So everyone, be well. Enjoy the Royal Rumble. I will, as soon as I'm done with this, going to put the last couple of entries for the predictions contest. The entries are now closed. Cutoff was at 4 o'clock today. And I wish everybody luck, and we'll see what happens. So, all right, be well. I talk to you soon. Ciao.